We're back. We're back. And finally, we're going to be finishing up Act 3. Surprisingly, this wasn't very much hell-like. Unlike my gameplay series. So yeah, it's time for the thing. So all you need to do is this. Match the items to where they are in the picture. Which means you're gonna need to find some items like the cap, which is right here. So I'm gonna place the cap over here. Now for the torch, I can get another one, the other one. Hello. Ta-da! That was easy. Double jump. Now to get the shotgun. Yeah, so right now we're gonna get the shotgun. So the other one will go here. Hey, what are you doing? You're trying to eat the cake? Save some for your buddy. So yeah. Wait a second, before I go into the basement.
games like Paper.io, Paper.io 2, and Paper.io 3D, why are there four of these? I wouldn't be surprised if they really are the biggest mobile game company around. So come with me as I take a look at some repetitive video games. So the first game is Paper.io. I'm not sure what's new about it, seeing the game was released in 2016, but you do you, I guess. This is actually the first major success published by Unity, and it's relatively well known in the realm of mobile gaming. The design philosophy is similar to other .io games, like Agario or Slither.io. In the game, your goal is to cover as much space as possible to become the #1 player on the leaderboard. Every round starts the same way. Every player spawns once, and you and the real human players start taking control for you. Yeah! I'm the best player ever! The first place player on the leaderboard gets a crown of first. However, it's purely cosmetic. Now you might notice that the game's a bit
Phew.
well, I was actually able to fix it by turning off my
You.
and even though the gameplay and leaderboard suggests that the game is online, it works completely fine with no internet connection. That means that this, and pretty much every other video game, prefer to use bots over any actual player. So why have a leaderboard if there aren't any people to go up against? Well, the game wants the positives that come with multiplayer games, like a feeling of competition, the addictiveness and satisfaction of
Now,
people, but
there
with no
could be another one,
with server costs, connection issues, or
another
having to have
part
a
to
decent
this.
computer. The gameplay gets repetitive after being
I'm gonna quickly check the trophy list.
but that's really all it's trying to be, so I don't think it's repetitive. Just go
I'm gonna quickly check the trophy list.
next we have one of their most popular games. Dune is a decently high quality game. It kind of follows the Flappy Bird idea of having to do a certain thing enough times to get a high score. And while in Flappy Bird, that thing, in Dune, that thing is jumping over the red line. I really like the visual style for this game. Its simple 2D graphics don't look ugly, but also aren't too distracting. Something really important for these types of games, and Dune pulls that off really well. You can change your speed and floatiness by just swiping into the texture, and the game stays completely rules. If you land down sharply, you won't make the
What?
but you get rewarded for
Stop it, guys. What's in what?
this encourages
Nothing's in the water. So,
I think Dune is most likely the best game I've played. You can tell that there was at least some actual effort in characters, rather than pushing something out to get a stage right. And that makes the game fun. Now here's a real good one. This looks cool. And as you can see, it's actually pretty wonderful. Here's your ability to change this game. You have to tell your sort of gaming to get it. However, there is a shop to spin. So you'll never be able to find the graphics much. Honestly, it seems a bit different.
I'm thinking. I'm melting all of these trees.
Wood turning 3D. Not sure how Reddit got into the script. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, wood turning 3D. The gameplay loop is pretty deal, but there's actually a really easy way to avoid doing that. Basically, if you just turn the Wi-Fi off your device and skip to the game instead of playing an ad. Now we're actually turning wood in the game without turning wood. And we do this by moving your finger around the outline of the object that needs to be made. For some objects, you need a bit more precision, so there are other options for this. Then you switch to the sanding phase, where you kind of just rub against the wood for a few seconds. Then we make it to the painting phase. The game doesn't tell you to paint in a specific color or pattern, so you can just paint it however you want. Or you can just not paint it at all. But here's the thing. Even though the game uses a percentage-based system, it doesn't actually matter. That's because the game implements a sneaky little trick you slightly miss the line, it automatically knockbacks up to the line when you switch to standing point. This means that you're either going to get something significantly less than 100% or just a perfect 100. Maybe they did this because the little children get more dopamine if they get 100% accuracy
I'm gonna cook.
level, while Twisty Road makes you fade away if you're off the road too long. Something interesting to note is that the level changes when you respawn. So if you fall off, you don't actually need to remember the layout of the level. Not like it matters much anyways, because the levels are all again pretty much the same. The path always goes down. The only neat thing I saw was a section of the level that was a bit thinner than usual. Like most other food games, this game also has a shop where you can find skins for the boss and different packs for the boss. There isn't really much to talk about, as it's just the same thing over and over again. Lastly, we have Proud City. This one follows a different formula than the rest of the game. Basically, you go around a map and you have to increase the volume in order to once again be number two. Obviously, this includes the only video game to do this, as this formula was taken from another one of their games, Hold.io. So when they aren't stealing from others, they're stealing from themselves. While it looks decently enjoyable on the surface, there are a number of things that you need to make sure you're giving them as much money as possible. For example, even though there aren't any other people playing against you, the game still forces you to be connected to the internet, and, like every other video game, it runs way better when you're not connected to the internet. So you just have to sit back and live with the fact that this game is never going to run as good as it should. The goal of the game is to get as many people to join your group to become the biggest group. The way to do this is to go after other groups. The deciding factor as to who wins a fight all comes down to who's bigger. And as you go into an action one, you start to take members off the other group and convert it to your own until you fully assimilate all those people into your fold. Even though each round is only 2 minutes long, the game still feels a need to have a happy. And of course, the game gives you that. And again, you can't disable the Wi-Fi. Video games die. Overall, Proud City is also looks like that. Play a game that actually has me spending more time playing the game than watching the ad. Something you'll notice with the selection of games that I chose a lot of games with different styles and then their quality. Games published by Voodoo tend to vary widely in style and reputation. This is due to them trying to create variety by catering to every genre of mobile game, whether it's fake.io games, simulators, or whatever the hell this is. The repetitive nature of these games means they get boring when played for more than just a few minutes at a time. But each and every one of Voodoo's games are kind of made for this sort of thing. Just a quick way to kill a few minutes. But you know what could do that better? TikTok. Now, I absolutely hate short-form content. I think it was able to draw my attention span by 99% after watching only a few hours of YouTube shorts. And I'd much rather watch something with more time and effort put into it. But as a way to get some quick entertainment while waiting for an appointment or waiting for the bus, I feel like shorts are way more diverse than playing the same Voodoo games over and over again. Also, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I found a game for humanity. It's actually the Terror Discord server. In this game, you can talk to people, not go outside. Yeah, that's about it.
Top of the world, finally. Finally, top of the world. The one achievement. That was super hard to unlock. I finally have it.
Super Mario Bros. Is one of, if not the, most iconic video game series of all time.
But the whole thing isn't over. Oh no, we're just getting started.
The 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong under the name Jumpman. And since then, he's become one of the most recognizable characters in all of gaming. But as with anything popular, Mario games also have a ton of other people desperately trying to capitalize on the familiarity of the character. Games that would most accurately be called Mario ripoff. Also, they're on mobile phones. I don't have that. I don't really want to specify that. The first game we had is Let's World. First things first, the game starts out with the story. Prepare to take some notes, kids. So left the leprechaun is sleeping on his pile of stolen beans. So your goal is to get it all back. All things considered, it's better that they didn't go for the save the princess approach. Since that trope is replaced with money is very cool. This is your quintessential Mario-like platform. adventure, you come across many different enemies, like these bugs and snails, which are just copies of the smoothie Koopas. You get 3 shamrocks to serve as your health, and touching enemies makes you lose level 3. While there aren't any full-on power-ups like in Mario, you still get an equivalent to the fire flower in the form of mine. You could find them in pretty much any level, and they allow you to take out enemies from a distance. You can also do 2 smaller jumps, which is a good alternative to 1 big one. The art design is pretty visually appealing, but there are a few things that annoy me. The camera moves whenever you change directions, and there's always a bunch of stuff clunking up the UI. Why do I need to see how close I am to getting to see a gambling wheel, or a download link for Let's World 2, or Boost, or 2 different flags, or VIP, whatever that does? The levels are passable, I guess. They aren't particularly memorable, but they're still good enough to be somewhat enjoyable. The only one I can really remember is level 5. They made it an auto-runner level, and I think that was actually a pretty good change of pace to separate it from the regular gameplay. Some might say that it was stolen from Mario Run, but Let's World was actually made in December of 2011, which was even before New Super Mario Bros. You can tell that its main goal is to be a local alternative to Mario, but the game itself only has one original mechanic, that being time jump. It doesn't really bring anything new to the table, which really just makes it a worse version of the Super Mario Bros. game. And I think we can all agree that we don't need Bad Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, they're trying to copy here. This game actually does what it is and they really just straight up stole several sound effects from those games. But even though the style is unoriginal, the 3D models at least look solid, but you can often see out of place crap. The animations are good for the most part, there's a glitch that occurs with this one like one good thing I can say about this game is that it at least has power. There's a pink potion you can drink at 3 a.m. called Blink Day, which makes you bigger, and there's also a fire. And while the Mario games limit you to 2 at once, spamming, this game lets you speed on playing the fact that you can tap. The button is actually available at all times. The only issue is that it costs 10 coins, so that isn't exactly affordable without the power-up. There's also a shop where you can spend coins to get power-ups and not get levels. You can also get characters. Characters like my man, Smitty, overall. Very cool game. The next game I'll be looking at is Sam's Level Maker. I was originally going to play another game just called Level, but it's genuinely such a mess that I refuse to even talk about it. This one is pretty different from the average Mario ripoff. There aren't any pre-made levels. The game only gives you the tools to create your own, as well as the option to play random levels made by other players. Unlike the actual Mario Maker, there's no bonus game modes, story modes, or 100 Life Endless runs. That makes the game incredibly difficult. Level design is a very important part of the platform. In the build zone, there isn't crazy amount of mechanics to work with, but there's enough to make some levels some decent games. I bet you didn't think of that. Oh no! Everything! And there's also no growth. The only way for your level to be played is to either give level ID to someone, or to have somebody swap onto your level at random. This means that there's no way to ensure or confirm that you'll be playing any levels with quality. This also means that a lot of levels I play with not very good safeties. Overall, I can't really say I recommend this game, but I also can't not recommend it. In my own personal experience, the game has some bad levels and some levels with good speed like actual effort put into them. Basically, if you don't have Mario Maker, I guess it won't have Next, we have Super Jack. Wait, that's not Jack at all. That's just Spider-Man from the last game. In fact, the enemy has the developer also did a multitude of other games, basically ripping off more popular games. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're currently experiencing a ripoff of a ripoff. This game literally stole so much from Tony's review. Obviously, you can play as Spider-Man in those games, but the comparisons go so much deeper. The on-screen controls and the tutorial for both games are identical. The music for completing the levels are the same. Yeah, the main characters hold spinny here too. The fire upgrade, despite looking the same, actually has slightly different features. Instead of giving you the ability to set hell on earth, it instead just gives you tech-free use of the fire button. So over the course of the game, you instead just hoard the shit out of it until you feel like actually using it. Okay, so now we're in the desert.
Now, ding
Why are
ding
there fields of
ding.
lava in the desert? This isn't even original either. This was just taken from the other game too. The more I look into the similarities with these games, the more confused I get. I'd assume that this has to be some sort of remake, and yet it was made by a completely different person. I'm still not even sure which game came first. And there are other games that are copied on both profiles. I guess the only thing I can really do is move on to the next game. Lastly, we have Robin's Jungle World. Okay, before I get into this game, I have to dissect this trailer. So it starts out with an animation that's about 5 frames per second. Then it cuts to some quick snippets of gameplay, which has a bunch of transitions that look like they came straight from Windows Movie.
Sorry, that was me.
My fair isn't even fully on the screen. Overall, it will be good trailer. So, good
Right.
news and bad news.
I'm gonna get
The
this.
game is exactly as advertised,
You go.
which means the quality level of the game is that could be a good thing, honestly. Having an amateur feel to a game can sometimes provide a certain charm to it. Let's see if that applies here. First things first, there's a gambling wheel. Everyone's favorite thing. Seriously though, why does every single one of these games seem to have a wheel? It's really not that great of a feature. Besides having a down arrow, the controls and features here are all pretty much the same as the two copy games. These bombs here act like the fires in Super Jack Sport. So why are they bombs if they don't explode? Well, your character changes ads, so that's pretty cool. And you also get the option to watch ads to get the power-ups without having to actually find them in the level. The animations feel really bizarre. The enemies move in low frame rates, but the crouching animation looks surprisingly smooth. Then the flightful animation looks more like a keyframe than anything else. It comes across as very mismatched, which isn't helped by the visuals, which look like they came straight from the origin. Every once in a while, you make it to the boss level. It pretty much plays out like you're at it. The only difference being these spinning things and the boss is like jet. And wow,
I've got that. It's sorry.
even by using jumping on it,
Didn't know it was the already.
you can never lose simply the health bar. After that, you finally save the
What the first shoot session? No, first shoot session. Yeah, I was going to send it away for the best week in the great place. I found just take a view. Eh? You think it was there?
working towards a compensation scheme for millions of American drivers. And when billions of pounds are behind, it's obvious that it's not in the lenders'
We completed this
Normal.
pickup at the cake. Put them according to the plates. Here is the second one, and here is the third one. So here we finished.
It's funny, you're
Oh, yeah.
more valuable.
Now turn around.
The box is not still opening. Don't worry. Just rearrange the mannequins. Let me put this here. This mannequin right here. And
She says, you bet too warm.
Although, game. I arranged the mannequins. Finally! Oh my goodness! And I wish the new tier. And I have the shotgun! Or another gun. Different type of gun, maybe. Okay, only two more trophies left.
More in there.
Two more trophies left.
They open the window.
Two more trophies remaining.
Your second one's on.
The first one.
Yep.
Here
Two
first.
more trophies
Oh,
remaining. Okay. So, shall we go back down to the other room? So we go through each of the doors. Open this one. Open that door. Get the guitar. Open this up. Then quickly close it. Quickly close it. And then place the guitar right here, I think. Dude, the guitar is really broken. Placing down the guitar is really difficult. Finally, dude. It hasn't even opened up yet.
And this
Hasn't even opened up. Hasn't even done it once.
Culturally Sofa is here with special introductory prices. Did somebody say?
Hey, what's good in this episode? Here you can see is a generator. The generator on that items, the torch, the hat, the skateboard, and the pillow. The one item is still missing, and that is the first here, just like a photograph now, if on this door like this. So we did all the
You kidding me? It fell out. You know what? I'm really not surprised. This game's so broken. Is this the right combination? Is it the right one? And of course it isn't! This game is broken. This game is completely broken.
items, just like a photograph. Now, if you see from this window, the generator kit is
How is it open for
now
him?
reached to the vault gate, and now the gate will open because we cleared the vault.
Guess I had to rearrange that.
Open this door, and there you will find the guitar. Oh no, again the neighbor is here. Once you got the guitar, just enter the mystery room and put the guitar on this drawer like this. So we did all the items just like the photograph. Now if you see from this window, refrigerator, and now you will see the ice on the freezer is
So the ice is starting to melt.
I don't think
Yep.
I could have done it without you
So,
guys. Anyways,
Wait
how
until
much
it
is
fully
it?
melts,
And if you haven't,
and then get the
go go. Anyways, let's get ready for launch. The trouble with nothing. The show's composer, Justin McCrose, owns a website which includes projects he is contributing to.
On said website is a Numberjack
Huh.
page listing all the tracks that Justin had composed for it. Oddly enough, it features an unused track titled as Naughty Zero. While not outright confirmed, it's heavily implied that this very track was meant for this episode, given its plot and how said track is eerily similar to the mini-songs regarding the structure of its melody.
Going wrong. This episode is the closest Numberjack has ever landed to a problem. Since the other Numberjacks couldn't find a landing spot, Six calls Agent 16 to tell the boy with the long pencil to write a ball, so forth with that.
Speed today, not tomorrow. This episode is the first time we see a Numberjack changing size. Six shrinks down to fit inside the farmer.
In, out, shake it all about. Aside from this being the puzzle's first appearance, this is the only episode to feature the inside of a puzzle book. One comes up. In June of 2025, a YouTuber by the name of the exact location in which this episode's bridge scenes were filmed. This was all a pure coincidence as, at the time, he was out getting live footage for the fourth episode of his show, Horrorbugs. It's also worth noting that this bridge is in Hammersmith, the exact area in which Open Mind's recording studio was located, as mentioned by Bob Golding in an interview about his time on Numberjacks.
The very first Numberjacks records anything up to the was equipped with this episode of a guy who made funny Bugs Leo. The video was uploaded on the 24th of October 2006.
Seven wonders. Seven shows up for a bit of summer break, and then never does it again, other than in this one video on the Numberjacks YouTube channel, that being the countdown to Christmas.
It's epic. This episode marks the only time when two Numberjacks were just like one meeting puzzle.
Belongings. This episode marks the first instance of a mini occurring twice in a row.
It's a very good fellow. This episode was one module of the first episode when Steve Even's Harry title, people to both special Peter Parker, and also Harry Tale simply being Peter Parker.
Boxing Day. Shockingly, this is the only episode to feature 4 as the one pressing the launch button to fire another Numberjack from the sofa. Why this is the case, though, it's pretty unclear, though it might have something to do with Paul's role as a supposed head of operations and control.
Afterwards, Firecasters Film is the animation studio that provides
Gonna have to take this.
where Lucy Spoon says, this was most likely trying to stay in the approximately 14-minute time limit. Side note, there's also in episode 9 where Lucy Spoon says, the really interesting is guys laugh. For some reason, at the end of the episode, when Paul's baseball died, he said, contact the Numberjacks instead of use your call. This never happened before. So while this doesn't have the longest title, Let's Count, After Christmas, this is the title called the most words at 8. Even the Marios.
Stop it there. This episode is the first to not include Chris Ellis, instead introducing by Alison Stewart with Chris.
Now we are in the basement.
This is only the case of season 1, episode 16 to 20.
This episode marks the first time something other than a Numberjack is actually breakthroughs without any functions but
A game of 2 halves. Each of the complex breaking started by 2 arrow buttons, allegedly labeled as forward and reverse, given the use of the most heading of the episode. This would be the only time that 2 buttons make an appearance.
Jack's time would probably go this, but a boy of Thomas, Percy, and James from Thomas's friends actually appeared for a second instance. Look at these cable drawings. It features the only appearance of 2 random bots completely unique to this episode. But from what I gather, the 2 bots were Lucidia's sons and These
Here we go.
this episode was actually the first time two Numberjacks not a part of the main 4 go out. 3 things good. This is the first episode to feature a stranger and Tolkien.
Stay with me. There was a 17th episode count. Thinking of this episode, which means
See you next time. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Don't worry. This isn't the end.
Zero the hero.
Just decided to take a little break because I needed the toilet. No. Whoa! That was crazy.
The cameras look a bit sexier, and they even went as far as Subway Surfers. In fact, it's so bad. The camera is also a bit behind when it comes to height, which means that things like this happen way more often than they should. There's even a vacuum power that hovers around the player model and sucks up coins. But wait, look at all these assets. Most of them aren't FNAF themed. And this leads to the most interesting thing surrounding the game. Because this wasn't always a FNAF endless runner. Instead, yet another shameless reskin of another game. In fact, I actually remember playing a different game exactly like this. Run with Ryan was a ripoff version of Keg that I played in my Global Games video. And it's literally the exact same game. Even down to the way our main character is being circled by a friend. So this game isn't even original in its absurdity. With that being said, at least we have skins. The animations are all exactly the same, but hey, the model is different. It's very good. I like. Overall, this game looks like something you'd see from Fun Video TV, which isn't very good. Hey, you guys scared yet? Because if you're not, you're about to be. Now we're playtime. Monster Round. While the titles imply that this is not a playtime ripoff, the screenshots indicate that there were a number of FNAF characters here, which means, yeah, I technically kind of. So in this game, you play as a scary monster, and you have to murder 6 people in a silly little hide-and-seek game. This is just
I
yet
have
another
to do
character
this.
type nothing further in the game. The main gimmick is that you get other monster parts you can merge to get a new, more powerful.
Finally.
You realize that, like the other hyper-casual game, nothing you do really matters because the game just has a bunch of giant arrows to tell you exactly where the people are hiding. But don't worry, if you don't just have to play as the monster, you can also make the choice to play as the
Sorry. When I meant 2 trophies remaining, I meant 2 trophies before I get the platinum.
and forget where you go as soon as you walk out of the site. Yeah, the difficulty in this game is really tailored for things to be easy for you no matter which side you choose. Yeah, it seems pretty cool, but no, instead we just have to run the worst version of Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th in the game. No type of skill is necessary. But just in case it works for you, now you can get playtime hours, and then I guess that the game is designed like this because it gets a free version of play. Because the only way a game can be enjoyable is when you're running 24/7. Once again, there isn't much to talk about here. Hyper-casual games.
Come on, come on.
Forget everything about this game as soon as it leaves your short-term memory. Here we got 5 out of 2. I'm playing the sequel because I think FNAF 2 is more fun than the first game, don't have me. This is a dating simulator game that centers around you dating FNAF characters and jump scare academy.
Match day action made you work for FNAF, like tap into thousands and takes the options. Feeding the whole team and everything else.
Unfortunately, you cannot get bounced anymore.
So the game is like this. You're in an anime high school, and you have 5 days to get the animatronic of your dreams to fall in love with you. And also graduate and stuff. But that's first talk, but you actually have to come up with a reasonable response and have some sort of conversation. This is where you learn about some of this game's lore. For example, Chica wears a puppet mask because she's shy. She also apparently killed Freddy according to some punishment for building Freddy. That's literally Cyber Kid's plan. Using any of this from the game, so we made it to the end of the game, and oh, we're going through a door, and that's it. Where's anything interesting? Come on, game. I know there are some other interesting things that this game has to offer, but I don't know. To get the worst ending possible. Very silly. I can really tell that this was a movie. Its low quality of the visuals and sound departments make that especially clear. But that also means that the game has a collective charm to it that the more modern games simply don't have. Being able to hang out with Golden Freddy, who may have a serious weapons for some people, is pretty intimidating. And I guess any audience would be like, Freddy, please get help. You know what? I think I actually like you better this thing. In the first FNAF, I briefly played this game called Bear Haven, and originally I started playing it after a few minutes because I almost fell asleep trying to get through the first. But this time, we're back, and for 8 minutes, this game's okay. Much like when I played the other Bear Haven game, I wasn't really but I at least played through the very first level, and it's actually pretty well executed. The game starts with a spooky stylized opening cutscene, then we make it to a rain venue. Much like the first game, or perhaps really also scary alright, the tone manages to keep things interesting. But unfortunately, the quality of the transitions isn't great. And while it seems to be cosmetic, it actually isn't. In this game, you play as a security guard in charge of looking after Bear Haven town.
This may get really crappy bad, but the game looks bad.
Using this map, but you also have to yourself. You navigate the area by going into these different sets, but because of the transitions, you never really get a sense of closure of the area, leading to an overall experience. They really seem like a close one, giving up the same vibes as the school. Again, the tension here is well, even with its particular stars, there are notes and clocks around the area that lure the bear as they get set. And hearing the noises in the distance does cause suspicion, as you have to explore the entire hotel just looking at this area. But again, because of the transitions, this game isn't as intuitive as you might want. Overall, this game has some fine gameplay, and I'm sure things get more hectic with time, but the transitions, man, they kind of sour me. Lastly, we have Escape from Security, Chapter 2. Now, the funny thing here is that if you go to the developer's page, there is no Chapter 1. Where is it, Yusuf? I want to play it, Yusuf. You get to see this wonderful menu featuring a stolen security construction, and it has play. Let's get to this. Okay, so this game needs us to get 8 months before escaping. Sounds a bit familiar. Sure. Without further ado, let's play some Escape from Security, Chapter 2. So we spawn by the exit door next to the map, but we can't go through the door until we get these books. So let's just get to it. The map we're playing in is a backrooms-like thing, with a FNAF security breach image next to it. You basically just enter there, get keys to enter more rooms, and get books. Then when you get enough books, you can escape. But you also have to deal with rocks and books. It's real scary, and also going average. Also, she yeah, as you can tell, this game wasn't exactly put together well, and that's for a pretty simple reason. It's interesting because this gameplay seems real familiar, and this strange blind friend doesn't exactly look like she remembers an FNAF. It's almost as if she belongs to a different game. Looking back at the instructions, taking a close look here, we can see that this is actually just a reskin of Slenderman itself, a Slenderman-inspired game that plays exactly the same as this cheap reskin. Overall, I guess if you're scared of this, and I suppose it makes for a silly alternative, but the game itself lacks all originality. If you're gonna pick one, just choose the original. The game barely even functions.
I had no choice. Wrong time, wrong place. Wrong time, wrong place. Alright, time to finish this episode.
But on the 15 natural century, Garten of Fanbin, yes. Despite the fair to see the one thing they wish I'd recognize, besides maybe the fall. The first actual scene of the movie has Ryan doing what he does best, making his own life. As they're showing some interest, he kind of gives off that actually makes sense.
The Shadow Man is here.
And somehow, life from his
Come on, son! Come on! This time I'm gonna have to have a good memory for this. Guess I'll have to crouch. Here I have to crouch. Here I have to run. This is the last time I'm gonna save the kid from the Shadow Man. No more fears! Which means another platinum trophy!
They take the Falcon and head back. Meanwhile, Ryan Scissors are
Well, that's it. I just got the platinum for Hello Neighbor. Every trophy has been earned. Every single achievement has been unlocked. Finally. See you all on the other side. Bye.